Testing 1, 2, 3. Is my loud? Sorry, if my voice loud and clear? I hope it is. Um, yeah, I think it should be. Let me see if I can adjust this a bit. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna switch on the camera now. Oh yeah, wow. Okay, I haven't been on camera for the past 1 month, I think, or so. So it's still glaringly a bit of a surprise to me. Yeah. So Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, brothers and sisters in Islam. Welcome to your favorite Muslim apologist, the Muslim apologist, and I'm your host, MENJ. Yes, it's pronounced MENJ, not Menj, not Menji, not Munch, not Minch, right? Just simple MENJ, my initials, right? So it has been quite a while since I last did a live stream. Yeah. For those of you who may or may not be wondering, or maybe you don't even care whether I go online or not, okay? But regardless, for the benefit of those who may be wondering where I had been for the past few weeks, well, the answer is simply that, life has caught up with me somewhat. I did want to go online a few weeks ago, but then I had an eye infection. It was in the first week of June. So yeah, this eye, by the way, yeah. So I couldn't go online as I originally planned. And after that, I was caught out at work again. And then last week I had a pulled muscle issue, okay, on in my left leg. So I had to, not think about going online because it's not possible for someone or for pain for you to feel pain in your left leg, and yet you still want to go online with that kind of pain, and I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah. So anyways, alhamdulillah, I've somewhat recovered from my eye infection, and The pain in my left leg, it's still there, but it has been reduced to just minor discomfort. Okay, thanks to the doctor who fitted me with this with a recommendation for this. I think it's a muscle cream. I think you call it a muscle cream. Not really sure what it's called. But yeah, thanks. Shout out to Dr. Alia from Pusat Perubatan Jamila for recommending the cream for my muscle pain, foot muscle pain in my left leg, and Alhamdulillah, I have somewhat recovered. Slowly recovering. Okay, age has caught up with me somewhat, so I don't recover as fast as I did 5 or 10 years ago. But yeah, I'm recovering. So yeah, nothing to worry about that. Yeah. Anyways, so before I babble on and bore you all to death, cue in intro. Yes, and back again with this live stream from my channel, The Muslim Apologist. I'm really glad to be back, right? After having been away for so long, partly because of work and also partly because of having health issues, if you could call that, if you could call those that, I guess. Yeah, and I've in the mean while I was away from live streaming and from the channel, I was actually busy working on this project, on this personal project of mine, where I develop or am developing this website featuring uh, almarhum Dr. Ismail Raji Al Faruqi. So he was a Muslim philosopher, religious studies expert, and Islamic scholar. Okay, and before anyone knew of Didat, Ahmad Didat, okay, with all due respect to Sheikh Ahmad Didat, Al Faruqi is pretty much way above, the level of anyone in the Muslim world, even back then and even today, right? So Dr. Faruqi was, I think, still is one of the few Muslims. In fact, as far as I know, he's the only Muslim who has done a critical study of Christianity and came up with a book called Christian Ethics, a historical and systematic uh, idea of its dominant criticism of its dominant ideas. I think it's called. I'll show you the book shortly, right? So, in fact, I will go through the website, and this live stream would actually be a sort of a dedication to his work, to his life, to his work, and to the books that he had written. So, among the books that he had written, apart from Christian Ethics, is also the book called Islamization of Knowledge, which is very much influential in basically Islamizing the education system in the Muslim world. There's also this book called Al Tawhid, its implications for thought and life, where he details the importance of Tawhid in the philosophical life and uh, you know life and thought of a Muslim, basically, how Tawhid impacts a Muslim's life, whether it is from the belief system, whether it is from the social point of view, whether it is from the political point of view, world order, etc. So he actually records all this in a book called, as I mentioned earlier, Al Tawhid, its implications for thought and life. And I will, of course, throughout this live stream, which I think should be very short, will present his work as we go along. All right. So I'm not sure how many people are there in the house. My counter says there are two people. Well, two viewers. Yeah, I'm okay with that. So I think this brother from South Africa who is currently now in Saudi, I think he has messaged me. I'm sorry, brother, I've forgotten your name. It has been quite a while since I've seen you, so I'm glad that you are here. So you said, I missed you as much as you missed me. Yeah, I've missed you a lot, brother, but unfortunately, I've forgotten your name. My God. Okay. I think I've lost my memories somewhat. Okay, since being away for so long. All right. So, anyways, I'm going to go to his Wikipedia page. I mean, Dr. Faruqi's Wikipedia page, and I'm going to talk about him a bit. So, this is Dr. Ismail Raji Al Faruqi. Yeah, I wrote the article myself, by the way, in case you're wondering who wrote it. Yeah, so let me see if I can make it larger. Wait a minute. No, no. Okay, that's my face there. So I'm going to go through the article. So I've actually translated it into several languages, as you can see. So fortunately, I've managed to translate it into Indonesian, Malay. No, unfortunately, the German page wasn't controlled by me, but Spanish, yes, I've translated it into Spanish. French, no, I didn't translate it into French. Someone did before me. Italian, I translated the page in Italian into Italian. Swahili, Dutch, not this. Sorry, this is German. Yeah, this is Dutch. Norwegian, I've managed to translate it into Norwegian. Simple English. By the way, simple English is different from standard English in the sense that he has only about 850 words in his vocabulary, and the grammar is very short. Okay, so it's quite different from normal English. Okay, and then we have Swedish. Yeah, I've translated it into Swedish. Hebrew, yes, I translated this into Hebrew as well. I don't know what language is this, or Malayalam, but I didn't translate the article into this particular language. It was already there before I basically overhauled and revamped the entry on Dr. Ismail Raji Al Faruqi. So yeah, so this is the information that we have on him. Okay, obviously, since it's a wiki entry, I couldn't put everything I know about him on the page without citations. Kind of a dumb rule from Wikipedia. Okay, Wikipedia was so dumb that I mean the editors were so dumb that they removed particular information on the location of the grave of the Faruqis, his wife, and him, simply because they claim that the particular citation that I referenced wasn't reliable. So how the hell are you going to confirm the location of a grave without a reference to apart from a journal, because or an article journal or a scholarly work, because no one is going to write an article journal or a thesis or a book on the location of your grave, right? It doesn't make any sense. So there's this website online called Find a Grave, which actually records celebrities, professors, I mean famous people basically. Actually, it can be updated by anyone, but there are records of famous people who are listed in this particular website. Unfortunately, Wikipedia somehow thinks that because of this, because people could contribute freely to this website, therefore this means that this particular website is unreliable in its information. So it's a really dumb and stupid rule, but then again, well, I mean, it is what it is, right? So so there's this info box where the record of his birth, his death, time of death, date of death, cause of death, nationality, spouse, children, alma mater, thesis, error, his error, and so on. And in fact, there was supposed to be a resting place here, the location of his resting place, his grave, but Wikipedia removed it. But anyways, let's go through this quickly before I move on to the website that I am developing on as a tribute to Dr. Ismail Al Faruqi. So, Dr. Al Faruqi was a Palestinian American philosopher. He's known for his contributions to Islamic studies and interfaith dialogue. Yeah, it's actually comparative religion, right? He spent several years at Al Azhar University and he taught at universities in North America, including McGill in Montreal, Canada. Al-Faruqi was a professor of religion at Temple University. Actually, he calls himself a professor of Islamics. Okay, it's a term that he, kind of created himself. Okay, so Al-Faruqi was a professor of religion at Temple University, where he founded and chaired the Islamic Studies program. Yeah, officially the title was supposed to be Professor of Islamic Studies, but Al-Faruqi always signed off as a Professor of Islamics. Okay. He also founded the International Institute of Islamic Thought, or IIT. Al-Faruqi authored over 100 articles and 25 books, including, these are the two books that I mentioned earlier, Christian Ethics, Historical and Systematic Analysis of his Dominant Ideas. And this book has influenced me greatly in my apologetics, as I will explain later. And Al-Tawhid, its implications for thought and life. This book too basically turned me from a secularist into an Islamist. So I actually owe it all to Al-Marhum Faruqi for making me the person that I am today, even though I've never met him. His books has influenced me to the point that I have now become an Islamist because of him, and I owe him that. I owe him that my deepest gratitude to him for that. Right. Now this is his early life and education. Al Faruqi was born in Jaffa. He was born in Palestine. Right. There's no such thing as Israel. His father, Abdul Al Huda Al Faruqi, was an Islamic judge. Al Faruqi received his early religious education at home and in the local mosque. In 1936, he began attending the French Dominican College de Frères de Jaffa. This is a Christian college, a French international school. So by the time he was in 1942, he was appointed as a registrar of cooperative societies under the British Mandate government in Jerusalem. So by the time he was appointed to this particular role, he had already mastered English and French, and Arabic and French, sorry. In 1945, he became the district governor of Galilee, okay? And then because of the 1948 Arab-Zionist war, Al-Faruqi was forced to emigrate, or to basically to flee to Beirut, Lebanon, okay? And he became a refugee. He lost his country to the Zionist forces that took over his land. So basically, he became stateless, right? But his family managed to flee to Beirut, and he studied at the American University of Beirut. So this is where he picked up English, right? Because prior to that, he could only speak Arabic and French. And later, he enrolled at Indiana University after his studies at Beirut. He took his degree at the American University of Beirut, and later on, he went to Indiana University in 1946 or 47. I don't quite remember. But he obtained his master's in philosophy with a thesis titled "The Ethics of Reason and the Ethics of Life: Kantian and Nietzschean Ethics" in 1949. Okay, so during this time, this was when he met his future wife, Lois Lamia Al Faruqi, who is here. Her name was previously Lois Rachel Ibsen. Okay, so she reverted to Islam. She's an American revert. She embraced Islam, and she became Lois Lamia Al Faruqi. Okay, and here the Wikipedia article continues. In his master's thesis, Al-Faruqi examined the ethics of Immanuel Kant and Friedrich Nietzsche. He followed this with a second MA in philosophy from Harvard University in 1951, and earned his PhD with a thesis titled "On Justifying the Good" from Indiana University in 1952. In his doctoral thesis, Al-Faruqi argued that values are absolute, self-existent essences known a priori through emotional intuition. He based his theories on Max Scaecker's, I don't know how to pronounce that, Scaecker's use of phenomenology and Nikolai Hartmann's studies in ethics. His studies led him to conclude that the absence of a transcendent foundation leads to moral relativism. prompting him to reassess his Islamic heritage. Within 6 years of arriving in the United States, he recognized the need for a more thorough study of Islam, which led him to study at Egypt's Al Azhar University. By the time he left the United States, he had developed new questions about moral obligations and sought to integrate his intellectual pursuits with his Islamic identity. So this was the time when he met and married Lois Lamia Al Faruqi, Mama Faruqi as I call her. So when he left Egypt for his intensive study course at Al Azhar University for 2 years, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this was he brought his wife with him to Egypt. Right. So later in 1958, he went back to North America. Okay, he was offered a visiting. So in 1958, Al Faruqi was offered a visiting fellowship at McGill University. He lived in Ville Saint Laurent and joined McGill University's Institute of Islamic Studies at the invitation of his founder, Wilfred Canwell Smith. So for those who do not know who Wilfred Canwell Smith is, he was a Christian missionary and Orientalist of studying Islam, by the way. Yeah. So he was a Christian. So just look up the name, Wilfred Canwell Smith. Okay. From 1958 to 1961, he taught alongside Smith and was known for his dynamic and original approach to Islamic thought. So the reason why Faruqi was offered this fellowship was because Wilfred Canwell Smith came across his dissertation and he was impressed with Dr. Faruqi's thesis, and he probably thought that he could convert Dr. Faruqi to Christianity. Yeah, uh, unfortunately for Wilfred Canwell Smith, he turned uh, Dr. Faruqi into an enemy of Christianity, as I will explain. Okay. So during his tenure, he studied Christian theology and Judaism. Yeah, this is where it gets interesting. And became acquainted with Pakistani philosopher Fazlur Rahman. In 1961, Rahman arranged a 2-year appointment for Al Faruqi at the Central Institute of Islamic Research in Karachi, Pakistan, to expose him to diverse Muslim cultures. Al Faruqi worked as a visiting professor there from 1961 to 1963. Yeah, but Faruqi didn't enjoy his time in Pakistan. He thought that a lot of things that he wanted to do there were ignored or were not listened to due to political reasons. So he decided to leave to for the States again. He decided to move to the United States. So in 1964, Al Faruqi returned to the United States and served as a visiting professor at the University of Chicago's Divinity School and as an associate professor at Syracuse University. In 1968, he joined Temple University. But I need to mention that before this happened, before he joined Temple University, in 1965, sorry, 1965, he wrote his book. He wrote his book Christian Ethics. Okay, during his time period in McGill, okay, 1961, 1961 or 1960, sorry, 1959, 1961. He wrote his first book, Uruba, which is quite a weird work to me actually. But there are some things that we could learn from it. But I wouldn't be talking about Uruba because he pretty much changed his views much later during the course of his career. Okay. So, anyways, okay. So let's continue. So in 1968, he joined Temple University as a professor of religion, where he founded the Islamic Studies program. He held this position until he died in 1986. He called himself Professor of Islamics. Okay. During his tenure at Temple University, Al Faruqi mentored many students, including, now this is interesting, including his first doctoral student, John Esposito. So for those of you who may be involved in this field, you would probably have heard of the name John Esposito. If you have not, then I don't think you have studied or have been in this field for long, in this comparative religion or studying religion for long. If you do not know who John Esposito is, okay, just Google the name then. In March 1977, Al Faruqi played a significant role in the First World Conference on Muslim Education in Makkah. This conference included participants such as, okay, the names here. The conference laid the groundwork for establishing Islamic universities in Dhaka, Islamabad, Kuala Lumpur, Kampala, and Niger. Unfortunately, only 2 universities were established, and those are the 2 universities that exist until today, right? Al-Faruqi was instrumental in the conference's deliberations and the development of his action plans. Okay, so this basically his early life and his academic career and his education. So now this is the meat of it. So this is basically going to be about his philosophy and thought as per the Wikipedia header. All right. So early thought Arabism. So this is you have to understand that this was Al-Faruqi's first foray into formulating his philosophical thought. So he was still at this time, in this time period, the Arabs were still obsessed with pan-Arabism. Okay, even though he was religiously trained, and he did have an Islamic core at the center of it, he still wanted to somehow unify his Islamic tendencies with that of pan-Arabism. So he called it Uruba. He differentiated it from the pan-Arab nationalism which Gamal Abdel Nasser, the former president of Egypt, popularized at the time. So he clearly mentioned this many times over, that the Uruba that he brings forth is not pan-Arab nationalism, but is an Islamic form of Arabism. Okay, in fact, he calls the Jews and the Christians, the early Jews and the early Christians, Arabs. If you read his book, it's interesting. It was interesting. It is interesting, but at the same time, it was also very weird for me because it has this Arabism tendencies which he tries to justify using couched in Islamic terms, and I don't really feel comfortable reading it. But of course, by the time I read Uruba, I've already read his later works, which are Christian Ethics and Al Tawhid. So I kind of understood where he was coming from. It's just that he wrote this in 1962, prior to the writing of Christian Ethics and Al Tawhid. So he didn't quite got it. He didn't quite understand how Islam could radicalize your life by sticking to the core principle of Islam, which is Tawhid. Okay, and I will, of course, he does admit this later on in his later works, but this was an early stage of his life, of his philosophical thought. So yeah, Arabism was something which he was a bit obsessed with at the time. So this was somewhere in the early 1960s, prior to the 6 Day War, I think. Yeah, I think it was prior to that, early 1960s. Okay. Al-Faruqi also emphasized the concept of Tawheed, or monotheism, as a central element of Arab religious consciousness, which he found in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. This idea highlighted a shared stream of monotheistic beliefs across these religions rooted in Arab culture and language. He believed that Islam and monotheism were gifts of Arab consciousness to humanity, which was in opposition to the race-based nationalism of the modern age. Of course, he got a lot of flack for it. Okay, some scholars criticize this stance for its perceived essentialist and Arab-centric approach, and I don't blame them. Okay, critics, including non-Arab Muslim intellectuals, challenged his assertion that Arabic was the only linguistic structure suitable for Islamic thought. Al-Faruqi's time in Pakistan, where he was exposed to diverse Muslim cultures, did little to alter his Arab-centric views initially. Okay, now this is where things started to change for him. Al-Faruqi's perspectives evolved significantly after his relocation to the United States. His involvement with the Muslim Students Association, or the MSA, at Temple University introduced him to a diverse group of Muslim students from various cultural backgrounds. This exposure led him to reconsider his earlier focus on Arabism. He began to prioritize a broader Islamic identity over Arab nationalism, stating, and this is very important, until a few months ago, I was a Palestinian, an Arab, and a Muslim. Now I am a Muslim who happens to be an Arab for Palestine. Reflecting further on his identity, Al-Faruqi remarked, I asked myself, who am I? A Palestinian, a philosopher, a liberal humanist? My answer was, I am a Muslim. And this is something which I admire Faruqi greatly for, because he was willing to take a step back and admit somewhat implicitly that he was incorrect in trying to push for an Arabism which ignores the significance of al-Tawhid and the diversity, the embracement of diversity in the Muslim Ummah. Okay. His engagement also influenced this shift in interfaith dialogue, where he began to see the importance of a unified Islamic identity to foster meaningful conversations with non-Muslims. Al-Faruqi's involvement in the MSA and his encounter with diverse Muslim cultures in the United States further reinforced his broader Islamic identity over his earlier Arab-centric views. So this was when the shift happened and he started to become more Tawhidic, as I would put it. Okay. Now, views on Tawhid. Ismail Faruqi's views on Tawhid included a critical perspective on Sufism, which he considers to emphasize mysticism and esoteric practices. He believed that these elements could detract from the practical and rational aspects of the faith. Al-Faruqi was inspired by Mutazili theologians, but by the way, he's not a Mutazili, but he was somewhat influenced by Mutazili thought, okay, such as An-Nazam and Al-Qadi Abdul Al-Jabbar, which I have Al-Qadi Al-Jabbar's book, by the way, on the refutation of Trinity, okay, who advocated for the use of reason and logic in understanding Islamic principles. Additionally, he found value in the works of the Brethren of Purity, or Ikhwan al-Safa, whose writings combined Islamic teachings with elements of Greek philosophy. Al-Faruqi's emphasis on Tawheed extended beyond theology, promoting an integrated approach that included rational thought and ethical conduct in various aspects of life. And you can find this throughout his book, Al-Tawheed. Meta-religion. Okay. Al-Faruqi sought to establish meta-religious principles based on reason, to evaluate religions against universal standards rather than against each other. And this is why I say that Faruqi's level is way above, Sheikh Didat. All due respect to Sheikh Didat, all due respect to Dr. Zakir Naik and those who follow them. Al-Faruqi's thought is way above their levels. Okay, so yeah. This ambitious undertaking aimed to find common ground for understanding and cooperation between different faiths. He proposed several guiding principles for dialogue, including that all dialogue is subject to critique, communication must obey laws of internal and external coherence, dialogue should correspond with reality and be free from canonical figurizations, and a focus on ethical questions rather than theological disputes. And I think this is important because if we focus on just theological disputes, I don't think we can fulfill the command of the Quran, which tells us to come to an agreement between us and you, that we worship none but the one true God, and that we are Muslim. We are truly Muslims. You see, so the thing is, I think the polemics that has been going on the internet, especially on YouTube, has been vicious, has been degrading. It has been an insult to the intellect, right? So I feel that certain things needs to change. Okay, I think for those who insist on continuing insulting Islam, we shouldn't waste our time trying to dialogue with them or trying to debate them or trying to reach out to them. We should just basically ignore them, laugh at their stupidity, or in my case, make up songs and memes uh, refuting the position, okay, which is what I'm doing right now. For those who are sincere, for those who truly wish to understand what is Islam and to make peace with the Muslims, then I think the concept of meta religion can be, be a guiding principle for dialogue and understanding between religions. Okay, so I believe the same as Al Faruqi here. So Al Faruqi, so this paragraph here says the same thing as I just said just now. Al Faruqi believed that meta-religious dialogue could serve as a means to achieve mutual understanding and respect between different faith communities, helping to bridge the gap created by doctrinal differences. His focus on ethics, this is very important, his focus on ethics over theology was intended to facilitate more constructive and less contentious interfaith engagements. Yeah. So yes, this was Dr. Faruqi's position with regards to dialogue, interfaith dialogue, and understanding between religions. Okay. Oh, by the way, Dr. Faruqi never used the term comparative religion throughout his career. Okay. Now let's talk about his contributions to Islam. Okay, which is still the impact of which is still felt throughout the Muslim world, right? Especially in Malaysia and in I think in Indonesia too. Okay, and some places in Arab world, Al Faruqi's methods and thoughts have been taken up. Okay, with regards to Islamization of knowledge. Okay, so Al Faruqi contributed significantly to developing the concept of holistic knowledge. He discussed the malaise of the Ummah, okay, which is basically the deplorable situation that Muslims are in now, okay, due to our own insecurities, okay. And he argued that a reliance on Western secular tools and methods led to a disconnect with the ecological and social realities of Muslim nations. So I'm going to skip some of this, right? Al Faruqi's later intellectual efforts focused on the Islamization of knowledge. He sought to harmonize Islamic principles with contemporary academic disciplines, and his work in this area culminated in the founding of IIIT, the International Institute of Islamic Thought, which is right now in Herndon, Virginia, I think. Yeah. Al Faruqi emphasized the need of integrating Islamic knowledge with modern sciences. He believed in developing a unified Islamic curriculum that incorporates contemporary disciplines. Focusing heavily on educational reform, Al Faruqi advocated for creating a comprehensive curriculum and academic institutions that combine Islamic and modern sciences. Okay? Some scholars have critiqued the Islamization of knowledge approach for primarily targeting the humanities, and excluding modern scientific knowledge. This critique suggests I think I lost some feed just now. Okay. This critique suggests that this focus could lead to a sociological emphasis on Islamic knowledge and potentially neglect the secularizing impact of modern science. I think this is basically a critique of Islamization of knowledge, but we have not seen that happening, right? So now this is one of the more interesting parts of Al Faruqi's philosophical thought, his views on Zionism. Okay, he actually wrote a book on this called Islam and the Problem of Israel. Okay, so Al Faruqi was a vocal critic of Zionism. He views it as incompatible with Judaism due to his nationalist ideology. He argued that the injustices caused by Zionism necessitated its dismantling. He proposed that former Israeli Jews who renounced Zionism could live as an ummatic community within the Muslim world, adhering to Jewish law as interpreted by rabbinic courts within an Islamic framework. So basically what he's calling for, what he has called for, is the dismantling and the utter wiping out of Israel. And in fact, in his book, he mentions by military force if necessary. So he wasn't shying away from even using military force in order to dismantle Israel. Okay, so I believe in the words of Faruqi. I believe that he wrote this book in 1980, and today he has been proven right. Israel is indeed an evil nationalist settler colonialist project, which which has basically goes against the foundations of Zionism, which goes against the foundation of human rights, which goes against Islam, right? So it is my Islamic duty, it's my duty as a Muslim to call for the utter dismantling and destruction of the Zionist state. And from the ruins of Zionism, from the ruins of this Israel, this fake state called Israel, we should build a nation where justice, security, peace, and the freedom to practice religion be implemented. Okay, whether it is Islam, of course, Islam will always be at the foremost of the law in the region. However, Jews could and should be allowed to practice their laws freely within this entity, within this region called Palestine. Okay, so anyway, this is too long to read. So yeah, and then this is about his death. So I'm not going to focus on his death, right? Anyways, you can go to this Wikipedia article. Just look for the article called Ismail Al Faruqi, and you can read it on your own. So these are the bibliographies. Okay, so these are the books that he had written. These are translated works. Sorry, these are the English works. There are some translated works in Arabic. So these are the works that he wrote in Arabic. These are the works that he wrote in English. These are the works that he translated. Okay, and then these are books which were supposed to be published but never was published. And these are his articles that he contributed to article journals. Okay, so these are all. There's a very long list here. I don't think I have the time to go through all this. We have been running the stream for 42 minutes, by the way, and there are 2 viewers watching this live stream. Earlier on, I saw that there were about 5 people, but I think most of them left. Okay, but anyways, yeah. So this is basically this live stream, by the way, for those of you who have just joined, will be about Al Mahum Dr. Ismail Al Faruqi. So yeah, so I'm going to change my screen here to the website that I've been building for the past few weeks, right, on Al Mahum Faruqi. Let me see if I can load it here. Should be loading now. Yep. Yes. So this is the website that I've been building for the scratching my head for the past month or so. Okay. So this is his website. The website that I created basically as a tribute to Al Mahum Faruqi. So the website is located at ismailfaruqi.com. Okay. And the name of the site is Ismail Faruqi Online. I mean, it's quite obvious. So there's a brief biography here, an intro as well. So these are basically the web pages which contain the chapters of his book. Like, for example, let's take Zionism as politics. Okay, I'm going to open this just to show all of you how it looks like. So this is the share step. Yeah, so this is the page where, so basically this chapter 8 of his book called Islam and the Problem of Israel, and the chapter's title is Zionism as Politics. Okay, this wasn't from the book. This is something that I found and just simply uploaded. So he detailed the story on how Zionism entered the region. Okay, the entity called Palestine. Okay, so this is the story about Balfour, the British mandate on Palestine, the Zionist acquisition of the land. It's quite lengthy. Okay, the Zionist immigration to Palestine, how the Zionists usurped the land. Okay, and then the civil inabilities of the Palestinians. Right from the start, the Palestinians were at a disadvantage because the British, who were colonizing the Palestinian, the particular region under the British mandate, they were already favoring the Zionists to come to the Palestinians' lands and to take over the land, right? Right from the beginning, the Palestinians were already colonized. Okay, so the Palestinians continued to rebel against British rule. Okay, Unfortunately, then the United Nations decided to partition Palestine into two parts without the agreement of the Arab inhabitants, by the way, I must add, because the Zionists like to claim that had the Arabs agreed to the partition of Palestine by the United Nations, this would mean that the Palestinians would have their own state, which is, by the way, bullshit, because the land already belonged to the Arabs. Why should, and they were the majority. There were about 70 to 80% inhabitants who were Arabs. Okay, because this was before 1948. So 70 to 80% of Palestine were already Arab. So why the hell would the United Nations suddenly come along and say, "Hey, I want to take a part of your land and I want to give it to the Jews or to the Zionists"? No, no, man, it's not going to happen, right? So obviously, the Arabs, the Palestinians especially, would be upset with this deal because they weren't even consulted when the United Nations made the decision. Okay, and then let's not forget when 1948 happened, the Haganah, okay, the Irgun, okay, the Stun Gang or Levy, they employed or they deployed terrorism in order to chase away or to get the inhabitants of Palestine, the Arab inhabitants of Palestine, to flee the land. And once the Palestinians had to flee and leave their belongings behind, then the Zionists came in and took over their houses, basically. You see? So this is basically daylight robbery, man. Okay. So Dr. Faruqi actually explained this very well. Okay. He explained it better than many other articles could because he was there. He was the let's not forget he was the governor of Galilee at the time. So he know, of course, he went through the whole experience. His family had to flee Palestine for Beirut, so he went through all that horror. So I believe that he knows what went on. Okay, so I have no reason to disbelieve him because he was one of the victims. Okay, and he was about 24 or 25 years old when this happened. So obviously he was mature and intelligent enough to know what transpired, okay, during the basically this the Nakba, okay, and then Zionism and colonialism, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. So this is the one chapter that I've uploaded or I've posted, and yeah, there's a few more. Okay, there's a few more chapters which you can go through the site and see read. Okay, so this is Dr. Faruqi. I'm gonna play the clip here so that you can listen to it. So this clip, like the description here says, this clip is from a documentary and is based on the work of Dr. Maurice Bucaille. And Dr. Ismail Faruqi emphasized Islam's harmony with science in this documentary, and he suggests that being a Muslim entails to being a scientist. Okay. Now, Al Faruqi encouraged scientific inquiry to understand and appreciate God's creation, and he highlights Islam's connection to science. So I'm going to play this video so that you can hear.
Islam itself has never considered that there is any real contradiction between science and religion. The late Professor Ismail Faruqi was a highly respected authority on Islamic studies.
To be a Muslim is to be a scientist, because you cannot be a Muslim if you if you if you do not fulfill the terms of the Khilafah. And the terms of the Khilafah are that you deal with nature, that you transform nature, nature within you and nature in your human and other human beings, and nature outside, the trees, the mountains, the rivers, and everything, the whole of creation. So you've got to study nature in order to know its laws, its secrets, as it were, in order to deal with it and transform it. Also, another reason, nature is the creation of God. And God subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has planted in nature His sunan, His patterns. And therefore to discover the patterns of nature is to discover the sunan of Allah, and therefore to glorify Allah. And so there are these two reasons why every Muslim must be a scientist. And this is why the Muslims have done wonders in science. Therefore, the Muslim goes to nature not because nature is an enemy, like, for instance, the Greeks did. The Muslim goes to study nature not because there is a jinni in nature which he is trying to master or to subdue. Not at all. The Muslim goes to nature because nature is a gift from Allah, which Allah has made musakhar, that is to say, subservient to man, in order that man may live and may fulfill the commandments of Allah.
Subhanallah, that's so wonderful listening to Al Mahum Faruqi's voice, mashallah. This, by the way, is the only known clip that I know of Al Mahum Faruqi. So that is why I put it on the site, because it was long enough to see how he talked and his voice, basically. But we don't have much on him, unfortunately, because this was in the 70s and 80s. So because he lived during a time period when technology was just in its infancy, so we didn't really have any, or we don't really have any much, or we don't have much audio visual material on Al Mahum. So this is basically the only known video that I know of Al Mahum Faruqi speaking and talking and being recorded. Okay, we have another photo of Al Mahum Faruqi, which is this one. Okay, there are a few more that I found online, but those were not commonly found. Okay, it was in obscure magazines, but this is the only portrait photo that I know of which is officially sanctioned by Triple IT. Okay, and this is the only photo that we have of him, which is clear enough to be used as the website design, basically. So this is a logo of him. Okay, and this is his portrait, which of course my designer turned into an artistic art, okay, for the website, so that it looks nice and presentable. And this is his name in Arabic and the fonts, etc. So this is the website. I'm very proud of this project because previously the site was how would I put it, dysfunctional, unfortunately, because I did not have the time or the means to focus on getting the site developed properly. But alhamdulillah, I managed to do that over the past few weeks, partly because of my eye infection and because I had a pain, I had a pulled muscle issue. So since I had these two things happening at the same time, I thought, hey, why don't I just focus on developing this site? So that's what I did, and alhamdulillah, I've managed to get the site up now, and it's available at ismailfaruqi.com. Yeah, so if you want to read further, just go to the website and you'll find that there are some information on the website. Of course, it's not complete yet, so I'm going to slowly upload content to the site, and it will be there as time permits. Okay, but overall the structure is there. Okay, so if you go to bibliography, you'll find something interesting in bibliography. I've managed to put up PDFs to his works, to some of his books. So if you go here, you'll find that this is actually a PDF for his book. This Urubah, this is Christian Ethics. I'm going to open Christian Ethics. Islam and the Problem of Israel. Okay, I'm going to open that. Toward Islamic English, Trilogue of Abrahamic Faiths, Al Tawhid. So these are the books that he's famous for. So slowly, I'm going to put all the other books as well. Islamization of Knowledge, Islam, Cultural Atlas. I don't think I can do this, but this is actually an encyclopedia. It's a huge encyclopedia, so I'm not sure whether I can convert this into PDF. It's going to be very tedious. Hijrah is a very rare book, by the way. It's something which not many people know of, so I need to convert it. I'm not sure how I'm going to convert this, but I'll try and figure it out. Eventually, it will be on the website, sure. Historical Atlas of the Region of the World. Now, I don't think this will be on the site because it's an encyclopedia. I have both books here, by the way, Historical Atlas and Cultural Atlas. I have both of them. It's right now on my shelf. So I would suggest that if you are interested in getting these two books, then you should just buy it from your local bookstore or from Amazon, because these two books are still available. Okay, but for the rest, you can actually get them on my website, which contains the PDF, and I'm going to show you the PDF right now. So this is Christian Ethics. So this is his magnum opus, okay, which analyzes and basically critiques Christianity. It is really a deep and philosophical critique of Christianity. there's never been a Muslim before or after him who has written at this level as Al-Faruqi has done. Okay, so that is why I admire Faruqi so much, and I draw upon his arguments, and I use his arguments almost all of the time against Christians, and they can't answer. Obviously, this is too high level for them. They are more comfortable answering Sheikh Didat's polemics than they are about about Al-Mahum Faruqi's philosophy. Okay, philosophical thought. So okay, so this is Islam and the problem of Israel. Sorry, I think I have a link issue here. So hang on, let me type this out. I'm gonna have to fix this later. Ismail Faruqi.com. Yeah, I think I have a sorry, WP content. PBF. Yeah, I have an issue with the URL here, so I'm gonna have to fix that later. Oops, I think there's a spelling error here. Hang on. Yep, spelling error. Okay, I got the book. So share this tab. It's loading right now. Okay. Give it some time to load. So this is Islam and the problem of Israel. So he critiques Israel. He critiques Zionism. Believe it or not, there's his entry is actually on the Hebrew version, on the Hebrew version of Wikipedia. So I think the Israelis must be furious for having to allow my translated entry into Hebrew, to be posted on Wikipedia, because there is a small section there where he talks about how Al-Mahum is very much critical of Zionism and basically wants Israel to be destroyed. I'm going to show you that part. Hang on. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Oops. Okay, this is all the. I think this is the part. No, this. Yeah. So yeah, this is the part. Yep. Yeah. Make it very huge, man. Yeah. So the Islamic solution and the status quo of the Arab world. Firstly, it may be asked, how would the application of the Islamic solution affect the actual state of affairs in the Near East? First, the Arab states of the Near East must undergo a transformation from being caricatures of the Western national states to becoming a single united Islamic state. Basically, he wants a khilafah. Okay? Secondly, Israel, the Zionist state, would be dismantled by force if necessary. The institution of the Zionist state is a positive evil, and so is all its defense establishment. This leaves the Ummah of Jews as covenanter with the Islamic State for peace. The Jewish citizens of Israel will not be required to move. On the contrary, they would be invited to dwell in any city or village of the whole Islamic state. Let's not forget he wanted a khilafah. So basically, all the Arab states will be united into one ruler. Okay, one single rule. Not only in some pieces of real estate on the west bank of the Jordan and in the Gaza Strip, as Zionism is presently asking, but no Jew may dispossess a Muslim of his land, house, or other property as Zionists have so far done. The transaction is personal, and both parties, buyer and seller, have to will the sale and be satisfied with it. As for the Palestinians, they would have to be rehabilitated in their own homes and lands, basically the right of return, okay? Out of which they had been forcefully ejected first by the British and then by Zionist arms. Moreover, they would have to be compensated under Islamic law for their damages. This means that the Jews are presently living in stolen homes and cultivating stolen land, basically the settlers, will have to either vacate or compensate their owners. If the owners insist on evacuation, the capital necessary for compensation could be used to buy new land and home elsewhere. If, as the Jews claim, the kingdom of David extended from the river of Egypt to the Euphrates, there is still plenty of land for them to purchase and occupy. According to Islam, as it had already been said, there is no restriction whatsoever on the number of Jewish immigrants, nor on the land or locality of land they may purchase to dwell in throughout the Muslim world. See, Dr. Faruqi is being magnanimous here, okay? And then thirdly, once the boulevardsman this solution brings has settled down, there is no reason why the Jews, as dhimmi citizens of the Islamic State, may not keep all the public institutions they have so far developed in Palestine. Basically, the courts of law, the universities, corporations, etc. To continue in their operation, whether in any locality of Palestine or anywhere else where Jews might choose to dwell. Then, when the Jews of the emerging Islamic State have organized themselves and began to breathe as Jews, free from any threat, the chief of the Islamic State might repeat the message which an earlier predecessor of his, or basically Muhammad al-Fatih, the conqueror of Constantinople, okay, had sent to the chief of an earlier non-Muslim ummah in the Islamic State, who was Gennadius Scholarius, the patriarch of Constantinople. Be the patriarch of your ummah in peace. May God protect you. To you, our friendship is pledged in all circumstances and under all conditions, wherever it may befit you. May you enjoy all the privileges hitherto enjoyed by your predecessors. The end. So this is basically the solution, the final solution for the Zionists in Palestine, in occupied Palestine, which Al-Faruqi has proposed. And I think this is a reasonable proposal because there's absolutely no way that a two-state solution can be implemented because the Zionists certainly do not want a two-state solution, and the Palestinians will be deprived of justice should a two-state solution be implemented, right? And then, okay, I'm going to just briefly show the rest of his books. Okay, oops, I think I kind of shut this. Just briefly before I start to end the stream, okay? This is Al-Tawhid, but Al-Tawhid is loading very slowly, unfortunately. So, yeah, it's quite slow here. So, okay, never mind, I'll just close this. Trilor Abrahamic Prayer is also loading slowly, unfortunately, so I'm closing this. But we have Toward Islamic English, which is basically a glossary of Islamic terms, okay, which Al-Mahum Faruqi wanted to Islamize English with, okay. So these are all the preamble, and these are all the general rules, and these are all the Arabic words here. Wait, hang on, oops, I didn't share the screen. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, so these are all the Arabic words that he wanted to implement directly into the English language because he believed that this particular word in Arabic can only be written in Arabic in the English language. We cannot translate this. Okay. Like sadaqah. Sadaqah is not charity. Sadaqah is something much more deeper than that. Okay. So these are all the works, the the information that he has provided. Yeah. So this is Christian ethics. So Christian ethics has a lot of detail here, which I will expound in the coming weeks and months. Don't worry about that. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So I guess So I think that's pretty much it from me for now. Okay. It's already been 1 hour. Okay. Oh, I didn't see this comment. I'm sorry. Submission to God. Salam alaikum. Peace be upon you. Wa alaikum salam. Good to see you. Right. I hope you're still here. Right now we have about 4 viewers watching the live stream, but unfortunately no one is commenting. I'm not really sure why. I'm starting to lose my voice now because I've been speaking for 1 hour and 4 minutes. All right. The subject of Al-Mahum always excites me. Yeah, I always enjoy talking about Al-Mahum Al-Faruqi because I really do love him, even though I've never met him, but I love the man. Okay. I really wish that I was able to, meet him in person. But he lived in the early 80s and he was murdered in 1986. I was only a child at the time, so there's no way I could have met him. Even if if he were alive today, he would be 96 years old. Okay, I don't think I could gain anything useful from him if he were that old. Okay, I think when you are basically when you are 90 something, I don't think you bother with you'll be bothered with talking about uh Islamics or whatever. You'll be focused more on yourself and your relationship with God, you see. Unless of course if you are Dr. Mahathir. You won't get the joke unless if you know who Dr. Mahathir is. Okay. So anyways, yeah. So thank you very much for watching this live stream. I do appreciate your presence. The stream has been running for 1 hour and 5 minutes. There are 2 viewers right now watching the live stream, but I have to say adios and goodbye to all of you. I thank you for those who have come on earlier. I thank you for coming onto the stream, even though I know the stream was a bit impromptu because I did not announce it in advance, but I'm really glad that I did a live stream because it does give me the chance to share my love and passion for Al-Marhum Faruqi, and I do appreciate the fact that there are people who still want to listen to me talking about Al-Marhum Faruqi, so I do appreciate that very much. Alhamdulillah. I hope that this Friday there will be a conference on Al-Marhum Faruqi's thought, and I'll be meeting with a student of his, a former student of his, whom I have been interacting with for the past several months now, and I do appreciate his time. I do appreciate the fact that he's willing to communicate with me, and hopefully, inshallah, I'll get to meet him and talk to him, and maybe perhaps find a way to discuss with him on how we could promote Al-Marhum Faruqi, right? So, okay. Brother Islamic calling is here. Walaikum salam warahmatullah. Brother, I'm just wrapping up, man. I'm going to end the stream soon, man. You are a bit late. The stream has been running for the past hour or so. Okay. Oh, Islam channel. Walaikum salam. I think your name is Charlie, right? Or Charles. I don't remember. But salam alaikum, brother. I think it's Charlie, if I'm not mistaken. I've seen your channel before. Okay. I'm glad that you're here. Yeah. So if you don't mind, you may go back and listen to the stream from the beginning. Then perhaps you would be able to listen to what I've been babbling about for the past 1 hour or so. All right. I'm back in Bangladesh. Oh, that's quick. Okay. Just landed from the airport. Yeah. Charlie. Fortunately, I got your name right. Alhamdulillah. Yes. So, yeah. So, I hope that if you wish to know who Al-Marhum Faruqi was, then perhaps you could, go to the beginning of the live stream and listen to me babbling for the next 1 hour. Okay. But I'm going to have to end the stream now. I'm really sorry because it has already been 1 hour and 8 minutes for me, and my throat is getting sore. I have not taken my dinner because I've been talking about Al-Marhum Faruqi for the past 1 hour. Okay. So, I do appreciate that a lot of you are actually here, even though you may be late, but I don't mind. I don't mind at all. I'm really glad that you are here. Inshallah, you will be able to listen to me lecturing on Al-Marhum Faruqi for the past 1 hour or so when you begin the video, right, from the beginning. So there's 7 viewers. When I'm going to leave, why is it that when I want to leave the live stream, there's such an uptick of people watching the live stream? There's about 6 to 7 viewers right now watching this live stream now. Previously, there was like 2 or 3 people watching the live stream. I don't really get it. Okay, but anyways, yeah. If thank you for those of you who have come here. Unfortunately, I have to leave now. But if you would like to listen from the beginning, please do. I do welcome, and I do hope that you will listen to the live stream from the beginning again, so that I have not wasted any of my time when listening when speaking on Al-Marhum Faruqi earlier. Okay. Not that I mind, of course. I'm just saying. Okay. So, anyways, yeah, I'm gonna have to end the stream. I'm really sorry because my dinner calls, right? So, anyways, please do subscribe to my channel if you like the content on my channel. If you would like to support and show your love for this channel, please do join my channel as a paid member. Inshallah, I'll see you again in a future live stream. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi